Welcome to the CEO Shift Show. This is the space for service-based CEOs who are done pretending that working harder is the answer. And they are ready to start leading their business like the tool it's meant to be. Hey there, I'm Surbey, and the work that I do, it's simple, but it's not easy. I help capable business owners stop running their business like a job and start building it like an asset that supports their life. So if you've ever thought, I should have this figured out by now, or one of my favorites, why does this still feel heavier than it should? You're not behind and you're not broken. You're standing at the exact moment where a CEO shift is absolutely required. So this show isn't about hype. It's not about hustle or heroic effort. It's about clarity. It's about structure. And it's about making decisions that actually stick. So if this conversation resonates with you, please make sure that you subscribe, that you share it with another CEO who's quietly questioning the way that they've been leading. Because this isn't just a podcast. It is becoming a different way of thinking about business. And let me share the belief that I want to ground into today's episode. This is what my entire movement is built on. And that is that your business is a tool and profit is math, not hope. So let me slow this down for you because my next client, his story matters. It's not dramatic, but I'm sure you're going to find that it feels familiar. And he's not the kind of CEO who's flailing. He's working, he's capable, and from the outside, his business looks just fine. But inside his business, everything feels heavier than it should. It's not broken. It's just dense. Decisions take a lot more energy than they used to. Pricing conversations feel loaded. And there is this low level, consistent pressure underneath everything. Like the business is always asking for more attention than it should. And when I see that pattern, it tells me something important. It's usually not about effort or discipline. And it's definitely never about ambition. It's about the fact that the business has outgrown the way it's actually being led. So when my client Ryan and I started talking, it became pretty clear pretty quickly that his numbers were coming from an older version of his business. Now, I want to be clear, not wrong numbers, just outdated. They reflected a season where the goal was to keep things moving, to be able to say yes to work, and to figure it out as you went. And for a while, that approach really worked. It got him here, where he is today. But now he was trying to use the same logic to create stability, profit, and confidence. Now, that's a really hard transition for many CEOs because letting go of familiar math feels risky, even when that math hasn't actually been serving you. So instead of asking, what did this business do last year? We actually now shifted the question to something that was a little more honest. And that is, what does the business need to do now for the life you're actually trying to live? And that question, it changed the entire tone of our conversation. Now we weren't talking about chasing revenue or proving anything. We were now talking about function. What does the business need to reliably provide? What does it need to support? And what does it need to stop demanding from you? This is where I always come back to the same reframe. A business isn't a reflection of your worth. It's not a personality test. It's a tool. And like any tool, either it does the job you built it for, or it doesn't. And once that landed, the work became a lot calmer. We didn't obsess over perfect projections. We just focused on the key pieces of clarity. We talked through what it actually costs to run the business in this season. Not a theory or someday, but actually right now. And we looked at what paying himself needed to look like if the business was actually going to be sustainable. And we talked honestly about profit, not as a bonus, but as a requirement. And somewhere in the middle of that conversation, Ryan said something that told me that we were in the absolute right place. He said, I just need to be completely confident in the number. And I want you to know that's a sentence that really matters, because it's the moment a CEO stops looking for reassurance and starts understanding certainty. He's not looking for perfection. He's not looking for guarantees, just something solid enough to stand on. And that's the line between reacting inside the business and actually being able to lead it. Before we finished dialing in the numbers, we talked about his calendar, his energy, his routines, because these things directly affect his decision-making. You can't expect clean thinking from a system that's constantly overstimulated. So yeah, we scheduled workouts. We protected time off, not as a reward for working harder, but as part of the leadership. Because when your nervous system is shot, everything feels urgent. And when everything feels urgent, even good numbers don't hold. And that's why so many plans fall apart after just a few weeks. They're built by leaders who are already exhausted. And so by the end of that conversation, Ryan didn't walk away with a perfectly mapped out year. And honestly, that's not necessarily the goal. What he had was something actually that was far more useful. He had a model that made sense to him. He had numbers that he could explain and defend, and that really got him excited. And he had small, clear next steps. We didn't allow him to go into the mental spiral. So this eased the pressure, and his business didn't magically change. But because of the fog lifting, he felt renewed. And that's what happens when you stop carrying the business emotionally and you start to hold it structurally. And that's really what this whole movement is about. It's not about working harder. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about learning how to lead a business like the tool it was always meant to be. And if this episode hit something for you, that's not an accident. It means that you're ready to stop guessing, stop negotiating with reality, and stop carrying a business that was never meant to sit this heavy on your shoulders. And that's what the CEO shift is about. It's not becoming someone else, not adding more, but learning how to lead from clarity instead of urgency. And if you want to go deeper, you can start with the free CEO tools that you can access at Surbey.com. We have some paid tools in the tool vault if you want a little bit more structure and systems. All of the paths are available to you. It's about building a business that finally does what it was supposed to do for you. And that's the shift. I'll see you next time.